Hello, my darlings. Good morning. It is Sunday, 20th of April, Easter Sunday. What screams Easter to you? Is it eggs, Sunday service, Easter lunch? Perhaps you're going shopping. Maybe you're going for an Easter walk. Maybe you're like me and you like to curl up with a good book and have a good walk as well. Maybe have the walk and then a lunch and then sit down with a good book. That's what I like to do. Now, I have reread this book in order to be able to do an actual book review of it. And that book I bring you is what I describe as the ultimate horror book of animal books. Watership Down. Yes, we follow Hazel, who is a born leader, as he and his seer rabbit Fiver can tell that there is a danger coming. And I would say that before I go any further, I am going to say there's a few spoilers in here. If you've never read the book or seen the film, where have you been? Also, perhaps you might not want to watch the film because it's pretty horrific. And the books is rather horrific. If you don't want to know what happens, turn the video off. And if you do want to know what happens and still read the book afterwards, then keep going, my loves, keep going. Watership Down, anyway, we started with Hazel, the natural born leader of the male rabbits. He leads them all to Watership Down, right, to safety, and is the leader throughout the entire story. Fiver, his best friend, who's a bit neurotic and has a lot of anxiety, does our poor Fiver, but he can see danger. He's a seer. He has the gift of clairvoyance. He just knows that they're in danger, and he tells Hazel, and Hazel's wise enough and knows Fiver well enough to say, if you say it's bad's gonna happen, we're moving, we're hauling ass, we're getting out of here, and we'll take as many with us as we can to save lives. Okay. Bigwig. Oh, I love Bigwig. He is that's who this is. I believe that's Bigwig on the front picture. Right? It screams Bigwig to me. That picture does. He is the tough soldier. He protects everybody, regardless. In this group, he's like, everybody hides behind Bigwig because Bigwig is so big and so strong, and he's an owsler, which is like a really high up in the military, because they have rankings in Watership Down. Being like the General Woundwort is top dog. He is like oversees everything. He is the ultimate supremo leader of Ephrathah, right? And chief of the Owsler and everything. He's God, but he's not nice. General Woundwort is nightmare fuel, right? If you're a little kid, somebody says they're going to set General Woundwort on you, you would be good, just so that didn't happen. Right, that's how scary General Woundwort is. We have Blackberry, the brilliant military strategist, and his ideas of floating down the river on a boat to escape General Woundwort's Ephrathah, genius level. Dandelion is the storyteller for Hazel in the new Warren, and he helps Hazel to enact his plan to get away from General Woundwort and the doomed Warren. Captain Holly. Special mention for Captain Holly. He's the old Warren Owsler captain who survives, I've written some notes, who survives the destruction of the old Warren, which was horrendous, right? What happened to the old Warren? It was awful. Awful. And he goes to Watership Down with Hazel, and he does try to get some doughs from Ephrafa, from General Woundwort's, what's left of that Warren. He doesn't successfully do it. But Captain Holly, what a guy. General Woundwort, that he's a complete mofo. Oh my God. I still have nightmares about General Woundwort. I think I will have them until I go in the ground myself. That he left such an impression on my mind as a child. And bearing in mind, when I first got introduced to Watership Down, I can't have been more than maybe 4 or 5 years old, right? And then my grandma, I've got beef with this, I really do. My grandmother sat me down one Easter when I was about, I would say between 4 and 5, and said, would you like to see a cute video of some rabbits? I said, oh yes please Grandma. And then I was like, Grandma, what on earth have you made me watch, Grandma? This is the most horrendous thing. I didn't say a word for the rest of the day, right? And I remember very clearly that night when I went to bed, I sobbed myself to sleep. I cried myself to sleep because I couldn't get over what had happened to these poor rabbits. And oh my God, Hazel at the end, right at the end of the book, and right at the end of the film. In fact, I've just reread the ending with Hazel, and I couldn't make this video because I was in floods of tears. I'm 50 next year, and this book will have you crying your eyes out. If you do not cry at the end of this book, you have no soul. And if you are not crying your eyes out at the end of the film, again, you must have no soul, because it's the ultimate guide to life and death in the natural world. And rabbits they're very matter of fact about life and death, rabbits, because they know a moment's notice they could die. And they don't live very long in the wild. They only live about 3 years. If they're really lucky, they'll get to 5. But that's as far as they live. And for them, life and death is an everyday occurrence. So when Fiver starts having these visions that the warren that they're living in is going to be destroyed, then Hazel, as I say, takes it very seriously. Bigwig is contacted by Hazel and he says that we're escaping tonight. That's how it starts. The whole book, it starts, we're escaping the Warren tonight because tomorrow there will be no more Warren, right? That's how devastatingly disaster hits this Warren. And it's just barbaric what happens to these poor rabbits. Honestly, it's nightmare fuel. Anyway, so off Hazel, Fiver, Bigwig, Blackberry, Dandelion, Captain Holly, Acorn, Baklava, Bluebell, and Feverfew and Feverfew. There's loads of characters in here, but that's the first lot. And they go off on their adventure, and they get all the way across the South Downs to Watership Down. It's high on a hill where they're going to be away from the animals and they will be safe. And then when they get there, you think that the story will be over, but ding dong, Hazel realizes that they're all boys, and how are they going to have a successful warren if there's no girls? Because they need the girls to make the babies. So they go off again, does Hazel, to try and find some does. And they realise that not all the old warren died in the disaster, and that Woundwort is still very much alive. Ooh, ooh. Every time I think of Woundwort, I'm having flashbacks, horrible ones. And they realise that there's some does with General Woundwort's Ephrafa. Now, the Ephrafa is the group, the rabbits. It is the secret police. They run the warren. And the Owsla are the old soldiers, and General Woundwort is the ruler. Right? That's a hierarchy, and the does, and they create the next generation and whatnot. Um, in between all this, we get help from a Russian seagull called Kiar. Now, Kiar is a seagull. I think he's a black-headed seagull, and some of his more memorable words are "big water," right, which he means the ocean, and "plenty good." Plenty good means lots of food. And stupid bunny, well, obviously that is stupid bunny, and that's when he's picking out the buckshot from Hazel's bum as he's just been shot by Farmer Kane, who is Nothanga Farm's owner. Now, at Nothanga Farm, there are some female rabbits that belong to a little girl called Lucy Kane, Mr. Kane's daughter. And they realised that these female does would be perfect if they could have them come live on the warren, but they're domestic rabbits. So they're a bit like, I don't know. Here's good. We're fed here. We're kept in a nice little warm cage, and we're loved by Lucy. They say, well, you can have freedom on the hill at Watership Down, and be with us and have adventures. And some decide to go and some don't. And it's the same at the Ephrafa, where General Woundwort's still alive. So they plot a daring raid on Ephrafa, and General Woundwort is absolutely, and rightly so, he's a little bit effed off because Hazel's been down, done a daring raid, got his females, and has taken them back to their warren at Watership Down. So General Woundwort goes off after Hazel and his female rabbits, intending to kill Hazel and kill all the other rabbits that dare defy him and get his females back. And an almighty battle ensues, and these rabbits are just slaughtering each other left, right, and centre. You know what? Now you can understand why my little brain, when I was little, back then, watching the film for the very first time, because I was far too young to read the book, and trying to comprehend that. And my grandma thought, didn't bother reading it, didn't know the story, just thought, like many parents back in the day, thought, cute rabbit film, it's got a U on it, means it's universal, it's perfect for children. Who decided to put a U on that video? I do not know. And just let the kids just sit there and watch it. It is not a children's film. It is not a children's book. right? I cannot get my head round how on earth it got promoted as a children's story. It's not a story. So anyway, getting back. So General Woundwort's gone off after Hazel, intent on killing Hazel and getting the females back. Kia does a blinder. He comes down and he does his best to buy Hazel some time to get away from General Woundwort. And during the fight and so on, so I think it's Captain Charlock, who is the absolute answer to General Woundwort. Is an Ephraim patrol member as well, and he gets hit by a train, allowing Bigwig to escape because there's a big scene with the train and the Kia and there's thunder and lightning, and Kia comes down and they call him the Devil Bird, and he basically goes for General Woundwort and Captain Cherville and Captain Charlock. And obviously the Captain Charlock gets hit by the train and gives time for Hazel to basically leg it with the female does, and Bigwig and Blackberry and Dandelion and just proper peg it to try and get back to the safety of Watership Down. Realising that there was no hope of escaping General Woundwort, they hatch a daring plan and release the dog that belongs to Mr. Kane the farmer. And this dog is absolutely beyond savage, and the kill count of the rabbits goes through the roof. These plucky little rabbits, they know they're going to die, but they lead the dog all the way up to the warren at Watership Down, because Woundwort is on the warpath and nothing is going to be able to stop him. And many of the rabbits die along the way, luring the dog up the hillside, and it gets to the point where General Woundwort turns around and says, "I'm not afraid of any dog." And you're going to see the size of this rabbit. Is a behemoth. He is super large. He's like 1,000 times the size of the other rabbits. He's that big. He's blind in one eye. He's got a torn, broken ear. He's got scratches and scars all over him. This guy is one tough guy, right? And he's evil. And the dog and General Woundwort charge at each other. I mean, General Woundwort is just not afraid, and the dog is psychotic. And he's already got blood on his mouth from all the rabbits he's killed all the way up the hill to get, he's in a frenzy. He's got the smell of blood, he's got the taste of blood in his mouth, he's got bloodlust, he's got red mist, right? There is nothing that is going to stop this dog. And General Woundwort charges at this dog, and the dog charges at, I mean, at this point I was near enough catatonic watching this on the video and reading it again in the book. And so they charge at each other, and the dog, well, yeah, you can work out what happens. The dog kills General Woundwort, but the dog comes up quite badly injured because General Woundwort doesn't go down with that fight. No, he does not. And even though General Woundwort is dead, in my mind he is dead, in the book he is dead, in the film he is dead, he lives on as a horrible presence behind my mind. Anyway, General Woundwort's dead. I believe the dog is fatally injured. It can't get up and it cannot attack any more of the animals because I think they both went for each other's throats, and the dog is dying. General Woundwort is dying, right? They both cancelled each other out. And after that, we go very peacefully. I mean, after all that slaughter, and I don't know why it was called Watership Down, it should be called Slaughtership Down. It's just, after all that death, we then go to the very gentle talking of Hazel and the black rabbit, right? And the black rabbit is called, I wrote that down for you. Yeah, she's called the Black Rabbit of Inley. Or Inley, yeah. Black Rabbit of Inley is the rabbit who comes to take rabbits into the next world when it's their time to die. And Hazel's having a conversation, and he said, "Oh, I feel very worried." Getting upset again now about leaving the warren. Sorry. It's so hard. It's so hard at the end when Hazel asks leavers. And he does. He's a brave rabbit. And he goes with the black rabbit. Sorry, I didn't think I'd get this upset. You tell I love this book. And you can tell that it really resonates with me. And the black rabbit's talking to Hazel. He says, "It's time. You're tired. You've had a wonderful adventure. You've rescued many souls. You've given everybody a wonderful, wonderful life." And Hazel goes, "But I don't want to leave them. I'm not ready. But I am tired, Lord. I am tired." And he lays down. And he goes to sleep. And his little spirit gets up. And he goes, and I'm so sorry. I'm thinking I'd get upset about this again. And his little spirit goes with the black rabbit. And he goes to where all the other rabbits are all waiting for him, all his ancestors. And the other little rabbits, they're all around Hazel, and they're like, their heads are bowed, and they're saying a little prayer for him. I guess what you get from this book is the fact that it teaches you about life and death. And that was a massive thing that I remember from watching. As I say, I watched the film first because I was so young. I would never have been able to understand the book. And that's a massive thing for a child to learn about over the course of Easter, having just seen the most horrendous dog attack and trying to wrap her brain around what had happened to the original Warren. 10 out of 10. The film is phenomenal. It is amazing. And you can see why this is a literature classic, but don't expose your children to it. All right, let them have not this like learning about death so soon. No, definitely not. But yeah, General Woundwort, blimey, nightmare fuel. And Hazel. Oh, you gotta love Hazel. And Bigwig. Oh, Bigwig. And Kia. And Captain Dandelion. And Blackavar. Oh, Blackavar is an African rabbit who's caught escaping, and he gets rescued by Bigwig. But what they do to Blackavar, what General Woundwort and his Ownsler do to Blackavar, no. And It's that is pure evil what they do to that poor rabbit. Would I recommend reading this book? Yes. Would I recommend watching the film? Yes, but do it as an adult, please. Do not let your kids read this book and watch the film until they are in their mid-teens. Yeah, definitely. Um, and I'll leave it there for you to pick this book up, sit down and read it over the Easter weekend. Definitely. If you like what I do, you can give me a thumbs up. If you really like what I do, you can always give me a follow and come back and find lots and lots of books. I have over 2,000 videos on my channel relating to books, my life, adventures with Monty the cat. There is something on there for everyone, I hope. And on that note, my darlings, I will leave you and wish you a very happy Easter. Enjoy your Easter eggs. I hope you've been very lucky and have got a chocolate egg waiting for you, or whatever it is that you enjoy over Easter. And no doubt I'll be back soon with another terror tale for you. Take care, my darlings, and happy readings and enjoy. Bye bye.